Turn it up.
A very good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for this press conference with Proteas captain Dean Elgar, looking ahead to the first Betway Test match against India. As usual, I would like to ask everyone to please put your request to ask a question on the chat panel. We do not recognize raised hands, so please, if you would like to ask a question, please put that request on the chat panel and we'll take it from there. Who would like to take us into this press conference first? Thank you, Stuart.
Hello, Dean. I was just wondering, it's been such a long time since you guys played a test match. Just how hard was it to get into kind of test match rhythm, given that there's been 6 months since you last played a test?
Yeah, it's taken us a few days. Luckily, we had a 3-day build-up at the Wanderers prior to us getting together at Supersport Park. So yeah, it has taken a few guys just to kind of like hit their straps. But we kind of knew that that's going to be part of the process of us building up to this first game against India. Yeah, so I know some guys might have been a little bit frustrated by maybe not having the right rhythm that they were used to or accustomed to. But yeah, it's nice to see the guys finally hitting their straps now and having our last training session today at Supersport Park. It's good to see everyone firing at the right level where we kind of expect to be.
Colin?
Hi, Dean. You referred to the Indians a couple of times in your last press conference as the best team in the world. Do you think they're actually the favourites going into this series?
I think it's pretty even Stevens, Colin. Us playing at home, obviously, I think gives us a little bit of the upper hand. They are ranked #1 in the world. We can't not look at that. That is something that they've been for quite some time, in my opinion. Just by being a cricket watcher and a cricket fan, you can't not give them the credit for what they've done over the last while. So I'm not going to sit here and say they're not the best side in the world, because they are, because there's a ranking system for a reason. But I think the mere fact that we're playing in our backyard gives us still the upper hand going into the series.
Ken?
Thanks, hi, Dean. Without giving too much away, in your wider squad, you've got a lot of fast bowlers and I guess a lot of different options within that group. As captain, do you kind of favor the idea of having 3 or 4 blasters, really fast guys who can exploit pace and bounce on the high felt, or is there room for a bit of variety within that attack?
It's a good question, Ken. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. I think it has to tie in with the style of play that you want to try and implement as a leader. And obviously tie in with the squad that you've selected. Being with COVID, I've said this a few times in a few interviews already. COVID has obviously given us the luxury of having an extended squad, which you're able to tick all your boxes now. With having maybe 5 or 6 extra players, and more times than none you try and fill those spots up with either all-rounders or bowlers. So I'd like to think we've covered all our bases when it comes to a selection headache, I would say, but it's a good headache to have, because we've got a lot of guys that've been playing some pretty good cricket building up to the series. So yeah, I'd like to think we're still in a good spot with regards to having that good headache, and I'll say that in inverted commas, because it obviously gives us the luxury of us to exploit a few options. But yeah, I mean, there's always the debate if you're going to go in with 4 or 5 seamers or fast bowlers per se, or if you're going to play a spinner. I'm still a fan of playing a spinner. I think Kesh has done an amazing job for the Proteas over the last, say, 2 to 3 years. And I think he deserves his spot within this test side. So yeah, it's something that we've obviously been debating over the last little bit, and I know the coach has obviously gone back to the selectors and given the selectors a bit of food for thought. So yeah, hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, and I'm sure on the 26th you're going to see what options we go with.
Percy?
Thank you so much, Sibokazi. Good afternoon, Captain. Sibokazi, I'm hoping that you'll have a second round, but I'll go for now. Dean, can I ask you the obvious question this time of the year, and probably a very, hopefully an irrelevant question. What do you guys as players, international players, do on a Christmas day, a day before the first test match? Do you guys do something together?
We actually have a Christmas Eve dinner with all the players, all the families. I'm sure Christmas Day is generally up to your own doing. Obviously, being in the bubble, we're pretty confined to being able to go out and go to a mall or go to a movie or whatever. So that's kind of been nipped in the butt for us. So we're quite confined to our limitations. But yeah, we tend to celebrate our Christmas on the 24th and give the families and the players the luxury to either relax and chill for Christmas Day or on Christmas Day, and just try and be as fresh as possible for the 26th.
Can you, sir?
Good afternoon, Dean, and good afternoon to everyone. Dean, I asked KL Rahul this question earlier, and I'll put it to you from a South African context. India, through the past 17, 18 years, have beaten everyone away from home, barring South Africa. Do you feel now that'll put even more pressure on them to perform, considering that they've toured well in Australia, they've toured well in England, but for some reason, they've always come a cropper in the past 7 attempts?
Yeah, it's something that we're obviously wary of. They've improved a lot with regards to their traveling record. I know Vera Kohli he's emphasized on that kind of point that they want to improve their record on the road. Extremely mindful of that, and they've set themselves that standard, and I'm sure they're going to try and fulfill it within this series. And as much as I have the power of being the leader of this team, I'm going to try and prevent them from fulfilling that role or that dream of theirs. So yeah, I think that makes it an exciting and extremely challenging series coming up for both teams. We know they're gonna come out firing. We're extremely mindful of that as well, but I'm pretty sure they know we're also going to come out firing. So either way, it's going to be an extremely exciting test series.
Niharika, followed by Percy, and then Mark.
Good afternoon, Skipper. My question for you is, what will be your biggest challenge seeing from the Indian team perspective? Like, what will be the biggest challenge for you from the Indian team? Is it from the batters or from the pacers?
I would say their strength at the moment lies in their bowling. I've answered this question already the other day with regards to their bowling. I think that's their strength. We're extremely aware of that as well. They've had a lot of success as a bowling unit. They've got a lot of older spearhead bowlers that lead their attack, and they've got a good backup set of bowlers as well. So, and in being in South Africa, I'm pretty sure their bowling attack will exploit the conditions reasonably well. So yeah, I'd say their bowling is obviously a strength of theirs. Just knowing that we have our seamers and we've got a little bit of pace and bounce, and the wickets maybe do a little bit more in South Africa than it does anywhere else around the world.
Percy?
Thank you so much, because Dean, I was fortunate to drive through Pretoria today. Are you hoping that you guys will get the desired weather conditions for the duration of this 5-day test match? And just the second part of my question, Dean, sorry if this question has been asked in the past, I apologize sincerely. Will you guys have your wicketkeeper Quinn de Kock for all 3 test matches?
Just to touch on the first question, yeah, obviously the weather the last day and a half has been brilliant for us. It's something that we kind of used to here in the Highveld. It's also, there's been a hell of a lot of rain as well, which has fallen the last 2 to 3 weeks in the area. So hopefully the rain's finished and the weather gods can be on our side and get us a good first test match underway. To touch on your second question, I'm sure it's already been documented that Quinny is only available for the first test. Fortunately and unfortunately, he's not available because of the birth of his child, and rightly so. I mean, I think that's the biggest moment for him in his life, and you have to respect his duties to be a new dad. And yeah, it's disappointing not to have Quinny around, but also saying that a new life's coming into the world, and we have to respect that. We've always respected new fathers or fathers to be within our team, and family comes first for us. And in the end, I guess for him it might just be another game of cricket, but a lot of guys around, it's for them it's maybe a lot more. But yeah, we obviously respect the fact that Quinny is going to become a dad.
Dean, can I ask you again about the decision possibly to go with a spin bowler? You said Kesh has done really well this year, but if I was a selector and asked you just to give me a little bit more motivation, why a spinner at Centurion in particular? Could you give me a few more reasons?
I think the conditions have actually changed a little bit. Playing quite a few 4-day games here, being at my home ground, sometimes the conditions have actually turned for the spinners. And bearing in mind, we don't have to worry about the ball not turning on day 1, 2, or 3. We got to set the game up for day 4 and 5, where hopefully the wicket deteriorates, that the spinner comes into play. Kesh has shown in the past that he's not just a container; he can be a wicket taker. He's pretty adaptable when it comes to his different role play that he can fulfill. I think it's one of his strengths now as a bowler, that he can be a container, and the right time allows him to. He can be a strike bowler for us. I mean, we don't have to go too far down the line, but Kesh has been pretty amazing for us in the test arena. And I mean, he's got a lot of skills, and I think his ability to adapt is obviously something that we can't neglect, and obviously try and use to our advantage.
Cheers.
Thank you.
And we'll close off with Kanyuso if there's nobody else who'd like to ask a question. Thank you.
Thank you again, Spogazi. Dean, I'll touch on a bit on Stuart's question and a bit on what Duan spoke about in his audio clip yesterday. The first punch, landing the first punch, how critical will it be against this India side that you've talked up the bowling, you've talked up the all-round strengths? How critical will it be to land that first punch, considering that the Proteas haven't played Test cricket for 6 months, and also some of the guys in the team actually haven't played red ball cricket for quite a while?
Yeah, first punch is important. I think first punch doesn't just stem for Test cricket; it kind of speaks for other formats as well. I think first punch kind of gives you a little bit of momentum on your side. If you're able to negate the first hour, first 2 hours, the first session of a day 1 test, and you come unscathed, I think that works in your favor massively. I think that can obviously either make or break a team early on in a series. So we know how important being on the button it is to throw that first punch. But bearing in mind, we have to follow a process. First punch doesn't necessarily mean you go out and score 100 for naught in the first session or take 5 wickets. Sometimes it's about fighting through the tough times and trying not to lose any wickets, and maybe just showing that bowling lineup that you're facing that, we've got things under control, and it's not going to be a walk in the park. So first punch it's kind of there's quite a lot of diversity when it comes to that. It speaks for a lot more than just going out and playing flashy, aggressive cricket. That also ties in with being sensible and being patient and backing your defense and backing your game plan, not allowing the opposition an easy way in. So yeah, it's widespread when you mention the word or the phrase throwing the first punch.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. We'll leave it there. Have a good afternoon, and we'll chat to you guys at the conclusion of day 1.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thanks,
Oh,
Dean.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Christmas, everyone.
Everyone.
Good luck, Dean.
Yeah, good luck. Not too many answers tonight, Ken.
Stay safe.
Don't drink Hunter, Dean. You should know that.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.